Hello, everybody. Good evening, my dear friends. Everybody who is on YouTube watching tonight. I'm a few minutes late, so um, I was connected. Um, that's my Bluetooth earphones telling me that my device is connected. I just needed a few minutes to take care of somebody. So now we are good. And so tonight I have a Q&A. If you guys have some questions, I want these lives to be, some of them to be more interactive. So if you get questions, comments, you're very welcome. I picked up several questions from my emails, and I want to apologize to those people that did not get responses to their emails. um, I have been extremely busy, and I'm studying right now for um, becoming better at what I do. So that takes a lot of focus. But once again, I'm doing this for all of us. So please don't take it personally. I am very happy to help and be here. Hey, John. Okay, let's see. We have a lot of people in the room, a lot of people that I know. John, hey Stan, Dave, Glenn, Lance, Bob. So good to see you guys. Welcome back. So today I have an somewhat unusual topic, and that topic is hey Tyler, good to see you. You made it. So today's topic is about a situation that one of my clients had. We talked a few days ago, and so he's very concerned because his Ukrainian lady, told him that she does not want to have children. Before I start talking, I know my sound might not be the best, but I hope you can hear me, right? I hope that you guys can hear me. I ordered some more microphones, so hopefully they will work better. Thanks, Lance. I appreciate it. So the question he has, what do I do? Because she's saying that she does not want to have children, and I really want to have children because I don't have them. And she's saying she doesn't. So what does it mean when a Ukrainian woman says she does not want to have children? What does it mean? So first of all, there are many things to consider. It's not just like you take one little thing out of the situation and put it into consideration and make your mind about this. It's a lot more to consider than just one thing. So I'll tell you what's important to consider. Important to consider is how long you know her, if she has any kids, what is her age, because there is obviously there is a biological clock. I mean, um, things are changing, and women now have kids in their 40s, but still I will explain you why that is important to know. Also, how does she says this? Does she tell you, I don't like kids, I hate kids, I don't want a child around me, I just cannot, under any circumstances I'm not gonna have kids? Or she tells you that I have these medical conditions, I don't want to have them? Or she tells you, my career right now, I'm studying, I'm working, I have maybe a project I'm doing, and so therefore I don't want to have kids. These are all very different things. So let's start from one that is most common one. I would say 80% of women that tell you they do not want to have a child. This is what it really is. So about 80% of Ukrainian women, dear friends, not American, not Western, not English, not German, you know. This is comes about Ukrainian women who tell you that they do not want to have kids. So in 80%, them telling you that they do not want to have kids literally doesn't mean anything. As weird as it sounds, but it means nothing. And I'll tell you why. What it means is, you know, they are probably somewhere under 30 years old. They just got done with the school. They're working on some exciting project. They finally got chances to travel. Um, they want to get to know you. They want to, you know, they want to have some careless life, and they want to make sure that you're the right man. In Ukrainian culture, very often when you get married, you have a social pressure to have a child as soon as 1 year or 2 years after marriage. So Ukrainian women still think with Ukrainian mentality, right? So that's what, you know, that's what it is, and that's you know, what she does. And so if she talks about career or studying or just getting to know you, this is just means that she doesn't want to have kids at this very moment. Once again, Ukraine has a lot of pressure for women still, even though things had changed dramatically, but you still have family. And it's just unbelievable how in Ukrainian culture, the boundaries, you know, the personal borders, if I can say, are very blurry. People have the audacity to ask you personal questions. People have the audacity to tell you how many kids you need to have, when you should get married, you know, and what you need to do. Some people really need to learn how to mind their own business. That is one of the downsides of Ukrainian culture, that people are so much into your business, and you know, you always wonder, don't they have things to take care in their life? You know, whether it's your friends or family, they all want you to be happy the traditional way, which nothing wrong with that. But instead of focusing on themselves, they focusing on you. And this is one of the reasons that some Ukrainian women actually considering foreign men, because you know, most of them want to have all these classical things, but they also want um, to have some things that they want to do. You know, they also want to not being pressured. They also want to be accepted, and they also wanna, you know, take their time. You know, whatever they're doing, they want to take their time. They want to be told. So guys, that is good for you, because you can say, hey, you know what, I understand you don't want to have children right now. Could we come back to this conversation in a couple of years? By the way, it's also very unlikely that Ukrainian women that did not have any children will tell you that I don't want to have kids. It's very unlikely. It's only about 10% of women will tell this, and probably because you asked at the wrong time, because they don't know you yet, they didn't live with you. So they want to take their time. They don't want to have a child with you and then regret. But they don't want to tell you that either. They don't want to tell you, hey, you know, I really don't know you. We dated a couple times a year. I've seen you, but after I see your house, after you see how you treat me, after I see how we're making it together, we can talk about that. So basically, I'm telling you, for the 80-90% of that, you can disregard that message. It's just a little bit of concern about their personal freedom. You know, they just want to make sure that you're the right guy, and they want to have some time for themselves, which is, you know, nothing wrong with it, guys, with having some time for ourselves. We were raised in the guilt. I sometimes feel guilty when I do some things that really recharge me. I feel guilty And then I told myself that it's not a good example. You know, you have to do things for yourself, because when you do things for yourself, you becoming a lot better mother, a lot better wife, a lot better, you know, human being and citizen. So we were raised by mothers that hadn't done much for themselves. Just so you guys know, once again, we were raised, most of women my generation, little older, little younger, they all were raised by selfless mothers, but selfless to that point where they didn't have mm, much space for their own experiences. So there is nothing wrong in having a couple years traveling, getting to know each other. It's actually also really good for you, my dear friends, because when you live with somebody for a year, two, or you know, you travel, you really will learn if you want to have child with this lady, because you know, children are forever. So I would not get concerned. My client was very concerned. We had you know, we had a discussion about it. I'm not gonna go into any details, but I hope you got my message. So Lance Taylor, thank you so much for the contribution to my channel. I appreciate that. Thank you. Um, I'm glad that you guys having a good discussion, and I'm gonna go through the messages. Yes, I'm going to go through the messages in a minute. So yeah, this is what, so you know, once again, this is, you know, what happens sometimes. Sometimes women just trying to protect, they're a little bit scared, this and that, okay? Um the only time you would be really concerned about the lady not want having children is, you know, if she has one or two or three or whatever, you know, if she have some, if she had some, or even if she didn't have, and she basically just tells you up front, she's like, listen, under any circumstances, I do not want, or I cannot. This is when you go to a counselor. This is when you take your decision and move forward. If the you know, if she tries to make it if she makes it clear and she is very consistent and strong with her message, this is for you to decide. You know, maybe you met a woman who is one in a million, maybe you can make it without kids. You know, child-free life has its benefits. You know, maybe you are the guys that's, you know, already done the work, you know, done the diapers. It's a lot of work. You know, when men who are in their 50s are telling me about having kids, i I truly wish them the best of luck. I do. I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible. It's possible. You can probably have a child till you know, later on, you know, since you don't have to give birth. But I always inside of me wish them best of luck, because it's extremely challenging. You know, it's extremely challenging. Um, you have to have a woman that really wants it, and you have to have the financial means, because when you're older, you might be hiring babysitters, you might be paying for camps, you might be doing all of these things, because you will not have energy to run, you know, when you're in your 50s or, you know, whatever. Good luck, you know, running after a 2-year-old. I mean, it's difficult, it's challenging, not saying it's impossible. And you know, some of my clients are determined to because they want to leave legacies, they want to have a child. So I'm not saying it's impossible, but you do have to have the means for it. I don't want to tell you, oh yeah, go ahead, it is so easy, oh no problem. You just have to have the means. If you can afford your wife being home and the child, and you know, some nurse coming or some babysitter coming, because even with Ukrainian women, you will need to have somebody that helps. You know, you will need to have, because she will go crazy. even though we build to take care of kids, but when we see nothing else but children, it's mentally challenging, especially with the tiny ones. Even though they're cute and adorable, you don't want to be isolated, have no social life, and let kind of go crazy. So that's all factors to consider, guys. I had one guy uh, I was talking to, um, that told me he was, I don't know, in his 50s, like late 50s or something, and he told me he wants to have kids because he had a really bad divorce and he couldn't enjoy his children when they were little, which is sad. And he was a wonderful father, but he had one of those messy divorces, and it's really heartbreaking. But we were talking, and I offered to go for a walk, so we can talk about stuff. He's actually, I know him physically. He lives not too far from me, and we were talking about this. I mean, he could, when we start walking, um, I can tell you, like, it would be hell, to chase kids or do something like that, because after about 5 minutes, or 10 or 15, I mean, it was done. So you have to be realistic in underestimation. Um, you have to, not underestimation, in estimation. You have to be realistic about what you can do, what you can offer, and what you want. If you want something, you don't need to watch my videos. If you want to do something, you're just going to go ahead and do it. If you're determined, you prepared, you have the means for it, you have energy for it, you have a dream, don't tell people uh, about it to discourage you. It's totally okay to keep some of your biggest dreams for yourself. If that big dream for you is to have a son or daughter that can inherit things and you can leave a legacy, keep it to yourself. Check with your doctor, check with your bank, and find a good woman. Do what you need to do. Another thing that I'm gonna share today, guys, that is just my insightful vision of things, and I know some people are gonna be mad of me saying this, but if a healthy woman in a marriage that is working for quite 5, 10, 15 years, never wanted to have a child, 9 out of 10, she had never loved you. As weird as it sounds, and I can already hear the people saying, oh, no, that's not true, but that is true. When a woman truly loves a man, she wants to have a little part of him. She wants to create that fruit of their love. It's just, there is nothing like that. um I'm not talking about people who met later in life, guys. I'm not talking about people when they meet in their 40s and 50s, okay? That's out of the picture. I'm talking about younger people that meet, live together, doing things together. You have no idea about the mother instinct, number one, and about when you truly love a man, you want a little piece, like you want a little reproduction. You want that, you just do. If you are serious about it, and you want to something beautiful to come to this world that come from the man you love. And um at least the feminine women do, a lot of marriages, you can see the stars, and in political world, you can see a lot of marriages when people have mistresses. It's known because their women are either into politics, or they are maybe actresses, or they have in their shows. They don't want to have another child. They don't want to have sex with their husbands. They just, they are into career. They decide to become masculine. They enjoy the powers. They enjoy the game. They do not want the affection, and then they do not want to basically they need their husband just I don't know, some kind of partnership. You know, I don't want to talk about any particular stars or politicians, but we all know the fake marriages. You know, okay, actually, I guess I could say it. Um, I don't watch that much TV. I don't watch, um, you know, don't watch that much gossips because I just find it boring. But a lot of times, once again, uh, you know, women knows that their husband have a mistress and they don't care because they just give up on that part of life, you know. So um, that is something to consider and to understand. Um, a lot of times I consult men and people who, I mean, people, men. A lot of times I consult men who been into long-term relationships, 10 years, 15 years, 12 years, and they had no kids. And by the way, there are also some international couples that have no kids, and I don't believe in their marriage. I don't. I'm not saying that it's impossible. You know, there are some medical reasons, whatever. But when it's consistent, long time, it's something off about it because it's the most natural desire to have. You know, I don't want to really um, guys. Your comments are just. I'm glad you're all having fun. So, but you know, once again, it's really, you know, there are exceptions from the rules, but there are exceptions for a reason. You know, I have the funniest story. One of my neighbors here bought a house, and they were married. They're very successful couples. They went all over the world together. They really lived a great life, and they wanted to have. So they met a little later in life, and tried to have some more children later on. They were great couples. They were famous here in this area in Michigan. They had multiple businesses and travel around the world. Anyway, so it was hilarious because so the husband was a little bit older, but so he said that they tried to have kids. He said we tried like hell. It was hilarious. But then the new owner of the house found her documents, and that lady, instead of 35 at the time, she was 45 or 46. So she basically lied to her husband. He never knew that she was 10 years older. So it was harder for her to get kids. But you know what? They did love each other. They tried like hell. So that's fun thing to do. And they actually he had kids from the first marriage, and you know, so there was somebody to inherit because they were very wealthy. They have a lot of land, antiques, and all of that. But you know, she actually did love him very much. They went on many travels, adventures. They traveled all over the world together. Really a great couple. But obviously it was a bit too late because she also didn't you know, maybe she had some issues with her health as well. But I thought it was hilarious that her own husband didn't know how old she was. So you know, so there are always exceptions to the story, right? So you can't generalize and say, you know, it's this way, that way. But if once again, if we're talking about Ukrainian women that never been married and or did not have children, most likely they will want to have it just naturally after some time, and things gonna be okay. I would never worry about that too much unless the person sits you down and tells you, listen, this is not gonna happen. If the woman have a medical reason, that's a very important point too, guys. If there is a medical reason, if there is a medical reason, there is not, you don't have to be devastated, or it's not a devastating situation. I'll tell you why. First of all, there are ways to still have it with even with medical reasons because of the medicine. But another thing, you have option to adopt. I believe adoption is absolutely incredible option. I know some men or some people do not want it. I'm not saying this for everybody, but if you really want children, you would adopt. I talked some years back with some women that they told me they really regret that don't have any children, especially one in particular. And I was thinking to myself, if you would really wanted to dedicate your time and sacrifice and take care of a child, and that person really was wealthy, you would have no problem adopting a child. Yeah, I think adoption is amazing. um, and I just think that these children, they are already here and they have nobody to love them. These children are already here and they have nobody to love them, and they are brilliant and beautiful. um, you really change the world. We all talking about changing the world and doing this, and you know like you have ambitions, but you really know that you change the world if you adopt a child, and if you really are a parent in your heart. In modern world, there is nothing that can stop you to be a parent. So these women who for physical, either for a physical reason, maybe there is some kind of condition, or maybe you met later in life and she in her mid 40s. Even though I have a neighbor that had twins in 47, but not everybody can do it, of course. So and she's like, for example, in her mid 40s or whatever, or 50s or whatever, you still want to adopt, you can, and it's a once again wonderful thing to do. um, I remember in my early days here was when I was doing I started was doing antiques. I would just buy antiques at like estate sales or garage sales and sell them in my Etsy shop. I ran into most amazing couple. They were like older. I mean, they actually were. I don't know. They were just people like a blue collar workers. They were really weathered. Maybe they were. I think they were in their 50s, and they had the. They invited me into their house to show me some of the antiques they had, and they had this little child in their house, and they were apologizing for the mess, and I was like, it's not any of my business. I'm honored that you invited me inside. And the child was just sitting there, so adorable and cute. And they tell me a story how they rescued the child. And it really stuck with me that these stories are not on TV. The parents and the child were a different race. The parents were just, regular, white rednecks. And the baby was beautiful. I think he could have been biracial, but I think he was just, I don't know, just a black baby, just a child, adorable, cute, happy, big and healthy, and so sweet. And I look at them, and I was like, especially in this world, when everybody's, after everybody, and there's so much going on, I was thinking, why this is not on TV? And these people, they were still working very hard, and this child that they adopted was adopted from a mother that was on drugs. So they had this child, and for 1 year this child had convulsions. Like he was shaking. He was just shaking and crying. For 1 year they had to deal with the results of of drugs. And I was just, I was trying not to cry because it was just a beautiful story. It was right here in my town. So You know, if you love somebody, if you have a heart, um, no, I mean, it was terrible, but it's not terrible. This child is so loved, and it's a beautiful boy. I mean, he was just like a year older than my child, and I just looked at him. He was just, you know, yeah, it was a wonderful story for me. I was just new in the country. I didn't know much about things, and I was thinking to myself, you know, you never have, um, you can always give some more love. That was just such a beautiful thing, and um, that child is gonna have, is gonna have, he's in a good hands. He's gonna have a great future, and it was just deeply inspiring. You know, you can just feel how hard they were working, and their own children were grown and gone long time, so they just did that to rescue the child. You know why? Nobody wanted the child because they knew that there is a, you know, there was a drug abuse and nobody wanted him. um, but sometimes, you know, the diamonds, the beautiful things are hidden in those adversities, and you know, you do make a change. And I really wish that would be on TV. This is, it was a long time ago, maybe 7 8 years ago, and this is when I was thinking actually about starting a YouTube channel. And I was like, how that would be if I would open good news channel, because all of this thing is fight, is, you know, racial tensions, political things, you know, idiots on TVs that, you know, getting their charges dropped, you know, when they are guilty, and, you know, having, you know, all kinds of crap going on. Things are stirring up, and, you know, people cannot get justice. And that's another video I'll have to talk about for another topic, about some modern stuff, you know, what's going on right now. I just can't even. So all this mess is going on. Yeah, like a fake hate crime. And, you know, and these people, you know, we all talk about these people, you know, even though this guy, you know, we all know who I'm talking about, the fake hate crime, right? You know, this guy is now, everybody's talking about him. And who is he? Like we say in Ukraine, he's a, you know, you know, zero, you know, like zero without one, you know, like 10. If you take one away, it's a zero. So anyways, I don't want to go too much into it, but, you know, we're talking about these people that do not even deserve our attention. We're doing all this, you know, we're talking about all this, you know, hoax and, you know, whatever. Um, People who do not change any lives, you know, get all this publicity, get to break the law, and then they can just, you know, walk away and make everybody feel like an idiot. You know, it's like, and then, you know, there are people that really change in lives. But, you know, people who are changing lives, you know, talking about adoption once again, nobody can take it away from you. When you know you were important in the life of a child, you are changing the world. You know, 50 years from now, it's not gonna matter, you know, what car you drove, what house you had, you know, what brands you wore. But if you were important in the life of a child, it can be a beautiful, different world. And all of us, you know, who are living in the now, we all gonna depend on these children who are grown right now. So we have to do a good job of raising them. So that's my speech, guys. I'm glad you're still here. I really feel like this is my YouTube family, and I share a lot of, you know, thoughts and personal things. I'm glad to have this outlet. Thank you so much for being with me. Yeah, please keep me away from talking about politics, because I'm on fire. I am literally on fire. I just cannot believe this. The United States justice system is like, wow. I'm just speechless of stuff that's going on right now. Okay, so I'm gonna read some of your comments, guys. Thank you for being active. Roxalana is saying, United States is becoming more like USSR. It's getting toxic. My 9-year-old daughter told me she doesn't want kids. Well, when I was 9 years old, I also didn't want to have kids, so I wouldn't be so worried. My son also tells me sometimes that he doesn't want kids. He's like, no, because they sometimes they see the sacrifice. When children say that, often they see the sacrifice that you make. They often see all you have to go through. so they're like, nope. But I would not worry about the 9-year-old. I would just let them live and form into a personality and make them happy. One of the best ways to make sure your child will have children is to make them happy. Let them be happy, let them develop, let them grow. So I remember my mom also was telling me about having kids. I was like, ooh, even though we all played house, but I was thinking there is no way. What do you do with those little red things when they're screaming? So, okay, we have some people who do not want to live here anymore. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna avoid the political comments because, guys, don't get me there. I'm serious. Don't get me there. Somebody says, I would love to have children, but the United States is no place for them. You have the right to have kids, where you want to have them, just like anything else, right? So let's see. Okay, I also will not read the silly comments, okay? John is saying, I love children. My Ukrainian lady would like to, but we are not sure we could with her age. But it's okay if not. I would like if we can. God knows. John, I read your letter, and I'm gonna tell you this. Focus on her. She sounds like a wonderful lady. If you ever need help, where to to find me. And thank you for your help. I'm gonna follow up because I do need some moderators on my call. I just hadn't done it yet. Just been focused on my study, but you are going to be all right. And you know what, you can adopt a child. I don't know if you're against adoption or don't want to, but one of the best ways, if your lady, a little bit, if you meet with her a little later in life, if she's like in her 40s, whatever, whatever age she is, you can consider that option if that's an option for you. So yeah, there's a thing about MGT, MGTOW or MGTOW is that, that's great if you want to go. That way, but how do you leave legacy? How do you have a child? How do you, how do you keep your lifeline going? So King Neros, thank you so much for your generous contribution to my channel. I appreciate this very much. Thank you. Let me read what you're saying here. Thank you. Your opinion matters, Veronica, and do not let YouTube muscle you to stay quiet about it. Yeah, actually, I'm gonna make another live. We're gonna talk about the United States justice and court system compared to Ukrainian, and we can address latest events. But I can't talk about this so late because I won't be able to fall asleep. I'm just like, Whew, this is becoming insane. I'm serious. These people are just out of control. So, hey, if somebody is not happy in US, if you have the possibility, you can move anywhere you want, and you can have family and children, or whatever is that you want to have, you can have it. But just so you know, there are issues in any country. So, yep. Yes, when I was little and I would look at these babies and they cry and they become in red, I'm like, oh my God, what do you do with that? I mean, mm. Well, but at the other, on the other hand, we all have our mother instinct is probably the strongest instinct we have. This is true. It's like, you know, another topic we're gonna talk about is, that I really dread, but uh, the latest law about in New York about the um, late term abortions and all that bullcrap. I was thinking about it. I can tell you right now that Ukrainian mother, any woman that have a heart, before she would make a late term abortion, she would have her leg cut or her arm cut. We would never, ever, ever do that. This is just a crime, a genocide, or how to say this, against the nation. But once again, guys, don't get me into politics. I will make video on that though. But once again, my uh, um, this whole extra left thing, extra liberals thing about letting women to basically murder their child on a third trimester up to the date of delivery. That is an open, illegal murder. It's nothing short of murder. If you ever, been around children, if you know, um, I mean, you don't even have to know. This is murder. This is absolute. I was just mortified over this, and I cried because I can only imagine how many women that are insecure, maybe unstable, will decide to murder their child. And I think these people who actually led that law should should go to jail. I mean, it's absolutely horrific. Um, yeah, I mean, it's unspeakable crime. And I was thinking, if I would be in a situation, I don't know, that somebody would tell me, oh, your child is sick, you have to do this. If I would be in a situation when I am in a late term, pregnancy, I would have them cut my leg, cut my arm, I don't know, but I would never let them to touch my child. I would be, I would never, no woman in her mind would ever do that, guys. We love our children, truly, just between me and you, we love our children, the instant we love them. Even though they say you can't love somebody more than you love yourself, but when it comes to children, we love our children more than we love ourselves in terms of sacrifice. We can be without food, without sleep, without water, but we cannot see our child suffer, especially having our child taken out limb by limb and murdered, or oh, it's just, so people often make fun of my conservative beliefs, but I don't give a rat's ass about who is thinking what. If anybody's think that it's okay to murder your child that is have a heartbeat, um, I don't want to belong or associate with their beliefs. And it's very unpopular having conservative views. I always, you know, people, I mean, it's just insane, but I'll never change. That would never change. I stick for these values, and you know, I think it's absolutely nightmare and horror what is going on right now. It really is. As much as I try to stay away from it, but it's all connected. And you know, the thing about the late um, the late term abortions is there are so many people that would love to adopt those children. Period. There are so many people. They should make adoption easy. They should not make people wait 3 years. 3 years for a child who is an orphan is eternity. So that should be changed. And people in the United States could you know, adopt these children. If you're on a third trimester, you should be able to give life to the child, and then if you can take care of this child, give it somebody who wants that child. That's all. I told you guys, don't get me into politics, and here we are. Okay, let's see. Guys, thank you so much for the support. I'm glad, you know, I'm glad that that what I say makes sense. I'm just so done with, you know, with all this. I'm just gonna, you know, I can't wait for summer. I feel like I wanna switch off my internet and switch off everything. I just can't take this. You know, and it's just really so funny to me that, you know, people like Hillary Clinton are supposed to be for women. I don't know another person that hates women more than she. If she stands for that, there is just, you know, no question. By the way, talking about, you know, loveless marriage, that's one example. When you marry to somebody and you let that person having sex with other women and then you threaten them, that means you're in a loveless marriage. I'm just saying. Okay, guys, let's talk about weather. Okay, I see that everybody is agreeing with me on late term abortions and all that. But I really should, you know, I'm gonna talk about these things separately, but I'm just. Thank you, Lance. Thank you so much. I probably will cut. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna leave this video like it is for a day or 25 hours. 25. I'm tired. 24 hours or so, and then I'm gonna cut this video to about 15 minutes, and this long version of it gonna be on Patreon because, you know, that would be better. Yeah. I am a tornado. I just, you know, I just can't believe that people do not see what's going on. That they just think it's all good, you know, it's all okay. It's not okay. It's not freedom, you know, it's the opposite of freedom. It's a crime against the nation, what's going on right now. But okay, going back to children. Going back to children, guys. So basically, you have nothing to worry about because Ukrainian women overall are very feminine, and this way or another, they would want to create a family. And you can talk about all that. You know, it's not like some forbidden topic that you cannot talk about. So you know, once again, guys, I want to tell you this. I appreciate you very much for being here, for being with me, for supporting me. Thank you so much, Stan, Lance, and everybody for Super Chat, for being on my Patreon. I'm working on things. By the way, I made a post today on Patreon, so those who are, please check it out and comment if you can. By the way, guys, I will make another video on this, but I just want to tell you. So I want to start making giveaways. So my giveaway is not gonna be. I decided to make a giveaway at 8,000. So I think we need like another 350 people or something like that to reach 8,000. So and we're gonna have 3 prizes. So yeah, I really wanna do a giveaway, and I have some things that I got for you. Actually, shopped last weekend. So I personally will send you a little package. We're gonna have a little drawing or something like that. It will be fun. So we're gonna start at 8,000 because I don't wanna wait months till I get like months or whatever it's gonna take me to get 10 or whatever it is. It's not about me. I wanna make it fun. So. Lance, I'm glad you see this as a positivity. But I'm actually pretty positive unless, unless I watch TV for 5 minutes. Yes, so I want to add to my channel some universal topics on what's going on in US right now compared to Ukraine. We can talk a little bit about corruption, about all those things that's going on, because the United States justice system is really out of this world, and I guess it helps to know some people, but still it's just like, wow. That reminds me of the situation right now, with the court system, and that people can just walk away, just break the law, create some bullshit, sorry for my language, make so much mess and just walk away with history being wiped out about it. It reminds me when, the husband is cheating on the wife, and the wife comes in and sees it, and then he tells you, oh, no, it's not what you think it is. It's just, we were just doing we're just doing yoga. You're crazy. No, it's not what you think it is. And then he blames wife for being crazy, for example. I mean, it's just like, wow. But we're gonna talk about this later, guys. Thank you so much for joining my live video, guys. Thank you for your support. Oh, I really hope that things will get better. So yeah, it is an injustice system. It's just insane. I know I have people here for I have people with different beliefs, but listen, I don't care what party you are, what belief you have. If you support any of the stuff, you're at the wrong channel. I mean, if you support somebody breaking the law and walking away, there is something wrong about it. Creating a mess, like, wow. It's just embarrassing. Oh, good. Thanks, Brian, because I don't know. I don't watch TV. I try to not watch news. Yeah, it is money and power, but where's this all going? So maybe you can rape somebody and just say, hey, I'm okay. It was, I mean, this is just insane. I think it's so embarrassing. Yeah, I mean, the person would not show their phone. They would not show the recordings. They make a racial crime scene, and they are such a racist that they actually hire people of their own race to oppress them. I mean, it's just like, it's just unbelievable that somebody planning something, okay? So, okay, somebody planning something, and then, I mean, you see, it's one thing if you accidentally, like, a couple days ago, I accidentally made the wrong turn, and I feel so bad about myself because the people, I was making the wrong turn. You know, people behind me were confused. I felt absolutely awful. If there would be cops, they would stop me and I might have gotten a ticket. But I really didn't know what I was doing. It was an accident, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is awful. You know, we all sometimes make mistakes, but when somebody is creating such a big mess to promote things because he's supposedly oppressed, where he lives, where he is a privileged American who makes $100,000 per episode, instead of being appreciating this, no, you know, we're gonna make a mess. But I just think, you know, if I would do something like that as a child and create this, you know, this lie, I would probably go, you know, we have the saying in Ukraine, going into the ground. I would be so embarrassed. I probably would, I don't even know, like, what would you do? I mean, it's even a child would not do that. So, and you know, people saying, oh, it's all staged, it's like this behind it, that behind it. You know what? Nobody, it's embarrassing. Exactly, it's embarrassing. And you know what? Nobody asked him to do that. I do not believe 1% in all these conspiracy theories that somebody pushed him. Nobody pushed him. Nobody did anything. He was bored of his mind. He didn't get enough of episodes. He wanted to promote himself. He wanted to show how racist we are. Even though if you've been to any other country, you know that America is not a racist country. There are idiots everywhere. But people are privileged to be born here. And the least you can do is respect your country. That's the least you can do, you know? And creating, so some people are so in love with their victimhood that they creating this and they believe it themselves. You know, when they cry about, I mean, what are you crying about? Nobody cares about your ass. Nobody cares about you. Nobody is oppressing you. Nobody, you literally doing this to yourself. Nobody else is doing this to you. Oh my God, it's just so ridiculous, you know? No, I'm just sharing I'm just sharing with you guys. I know a lot of people well, let me tell you this, I'm a passionate woman, so when things are happening, I react. Don't worry, guys. Yes, nobody cares about your ass, you know, whatever. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that. So, and you know, I'm gonna once again leave. So, guys, I appreciate you being on my live video. So, with these long ones, I'm gonna let them hang for a bit, and I'm gonna chop them. And the full version, you know, with me cursing and being mad, it's gonna be for my. It's gonna be in the Patreon history, and here I'll just leave a little piece of that. So don't worry about that. Thank you guys so much. Just a minute. Getting a question. Anybody has any more questions? Thank you guys. Just so you know, I don't know, some of you been watching my channel for a while. I have like 4 years in political science, so you know, it's gonna show somehow, right? George Bakers, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the contribution to my channel. I appreciate that. Thank you. Yes. Well, guys, I'll tell you this. I know that most people who watching me are men, and men love politics, and in my you know, little secret that I also, you know, I understand some things that most people don't. So I try to not talk about it when I socialize. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey, Lance is saying, thank you, Lance. You saying you're a beautiful soul, мой друг, which means my friend, and I'm reading this like as my drug. My drug. Oh, George, you hadn't seen me, you had not heard me cursing yet. It's a rare occasion, but when it's happened, it's I make it count. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for your support. I appreciate it. Oh my god. Yes, I am right. You know what I'm saying? Thank you guys so much. Oh my gosh, so much support. All right. Thank you. I live name Veronica because of this meeting. Yes. Hey guys, thank you. Okay, space elevators. Thank you so much for the contribution. So space elevators saying what? I'm not sure I understand what you're saying. Please don't take tons of immigrants and lose Ukrainian culture, and people like the rest of the world have more kids. Well, I think nothing wrong with immigrants, but you can't. You have to be. If you want to move to another country, you have to find legal way to get to another country. That's another. So, because basically today it's a political discussion here on YouTube. You have to, you know, I look at this and people are telling me, well, you are an immigrant, how can you be against immigrants? But there is a big difference between breaking the law and getting to the country and getting to the country legal way. There is a big difference, huge difference. It's totally different things. And I don't feel safe when people come without their background, without their documents, the sex trafficking, the rape, and all of the above, and drugs. It's not okay. Do you think that any Ukrainian person could just jump and come here? It took 7 months or 8 months for all the documents, for all the health things, for they checked my police record, everything. So many things were checked that I almost felt like I just want to quit doing this because I felt so bad. But I understand now why it's done, because you have to know who you open your borders for, so yeah. But anyways, guys, so maybe I should open another channel. But let's talk politics with Veronica Olsen. That would be really funny. I don't know about that, guys. If I will open that channel, I might quit this one. Guys, you're the best. Thank you so very much for being here. I truly appreciated that. So guys, I gotta go. Have a wonderful night. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, thank you for the encouraging comments. Thank you for coming to my show. So this shows once again that I announced that I'm gonna be live on Thursday, or live on Friday, or live on Monday. These lives you know, highly appreciate when you attend. For your attendance, you get the whole hour, and for those who will watch later, it's gonna be just a short version. If you're on Patreon, you can see it with the full version, or if you you know, if you